On the flip side, Whittaker is a heavy front foot fighter. Kind of leads with his head, so he tries to like bait them to throw and then counters them. Very quick off the mark, covers distance very well. Stands heavy on his lead leg partly because he stands a bit further out of range than he appears to his opponents. Oftentimes he'll look closer than he actually is because he's heavy on his lead leg. But that, similar to Gastelum, it allows him to slip a decent distance back to get himself out of danger. And has also got good counter hooks. Obviously he's orthodox, so he's countering with his left hook. He's a bit more lively on his feet. Even when he's stationary, his heels are still off the floor, and he's still, there's still mobility there. You can still see he looks a bit like a sprinter sometimes, like he's about ready to take off. And that allows him to fire his high kicks up, right into the guard or the sides of the head. It's one of the strengths of his style. He doesn't turn his hips over a great deal. He snaps the high kick up and brings it back, which, from a traditional martial arts perspective, if you're doing taekwondo or karate, that's a beautiful point scoring style of head kick. And what he's proven with the stoppage that he's had, obviously with the Jacare and Brunson, is that you don't need a lot of power to knock somebody out with a head kick, as long as it's well timed and placed, especially to make somebody vulnerable for whatever comes next. And the other thing that comes to mind as well is when he fought Brad Tavares, he threw that beautiful front kick that didn't land, pulled it back straight into a lead hook. Kicks can set up punches. They're good for closing range. And I think if he's just on the outside of Gastelum's range, he might be able to use that speed to his advantage. And he's got a really good gazelle hook, like a hop-in hook. He jumps in and catches people on the chin with it, like he did against Brad Tavares. But what's interesting is he doesn't turn his shoulders, much like his high kicks. He doesn't turn his hip over, which allows him to retract it quite quickly. It makes him very good defensively. Not so much against Israel Adesanya, but he just didn't look himself in that fight. And since he's taken some time off, he's and got a wake up first round against Darren Till with the elbow. I think he's starting to find himself again. It's almost like he's got a second lease of life. And I think maybe the Heinisch performance for Gastelum was something similar. He looked very good, and obviously being able to lean on that wrestling background, which looked to me to have been refined, in the training camp for that fight, might give him a second option in this fight.